How would you feel if you were given up to 26,000 per employee in a refundable payroll tax credit that you do not have to give back for being able to retain employees during this whole COVID-19 epidemic? Hi, welcome into this employee retention credit program review, where I will be going into what this sustains, what it is all about, walking you through a part of the process that I have on screen that I will be jumping into one of my tabs in a moment and walking you through the steps to getting started. And I will also have this down below in the description for you to get started. But before I do any of that, welcome into this live. Please give me a hashtag live if you are now here and we'll be watching in the replay. Please give me a hashtag replay. Let me know. Hello, where are you tuning in from? It's funny, just earlier I said review, and I'm so used to saying review as in terms I'm doing a review on a certain program or on a certain business loan product or on a tax credit, whatever that is. And so I really didn't want to use the word review as in depth right now, but I will be showing you and walking you through the process of getting started and what this employee retention tax credit up to 26,000 per employee is, if you haven't heard. And if you have, you more or less have already gone through the application process with myself and or elsewhere. But I'm going to show you the most efficient way of doing this, hassle-free, where everything can get done in literally in a week to 2 weeks, even less, and then get your refundable payroll tax credit so you can finally move on, power forward, and be able to use this how you choose. And just imagine having this. You don't have to give back. It's not a loan. It's a payroll refundable tax credit you can be eligible for pertaining quarters. And I'll go into a little bit of those details and what you would have to submit in terms of documentation. But for a lot of us that have been hit hard, especially during COVID, and we had to lose employees, I'm sorry to hear that if you did. And if you were able to retain more, great, but not many could. And so it was out of your control for government mandates, partial or full-time shutdown. You had to make some shifts in your business. You couldn't be there full-time doing things. You couldn't employ as many people, supply chain issues, gross receipts reduction, and a few other things. And so external reasons, it was out of your control. And so the government is saying, hey, underneath the CARES Act that then was later passed on to another one, is saying we can help you get up to 26,000 per qualified W-2 wages. And I'll go into some of those details. But again, down below, if you click the first link, it'll get you started in what I'm about to show you right now. But very quickly, so EIDL loan updates, not a lot going on there. You're seeing that it has pretty much flattened out. The PPP loan, similar. The Restaurant Revitalization Fund, okay, we can say it's there, but not everybody will qualify. Not everybody will be able to reapply or apply again or whatever they try to do. If there's going to be another second round, third round, fourth round, what will actually happen? Maybe you're looking for a business loan or a cash advance. Maybe there's a personal loan. Maybe you're looking at personal credit cards, taking on business credit cards, credit lines, business lines of credit, equipment loans. The list goes on and on, grants. And I do all of that as a business loan broker expert who will be here by your side. I've helped out a lot of business owners, not only with this refundable payroll tax credit, but with other types of financing. So without further, let me get into the share screen and show you the step-by-step process that I will leave for you down below, some of the details that go over this product as well, and then we'll conclude. As you see on your screen, get the refund your business needs. Please start this less than 50-second quiz questionnaire below to see what is possible for you. There is no opt-in necessary, at least at this time of this video. And so I've created this myself with my own hands on my own website to make sure that it is as accurate as possible. And you'll see a set of questions. Literally, you can get done with this, honestly, in less than 5 to 10 seconds if you already know your stuff. But again, this will be down below in the description. Up to $26,000 per employee for qualified W-2 wages per quarter. So we're going to have to get into some of the documentation and how that's delivered in a moment. So are you ready to get your payroll refund with the ERC program before it expires soon? So what I want to make mention of this, if you've been around hearing about the ERC, ERTC program, they're the same thing. Employee retention credit, employee retention tax credit, refundable payroll tax credit. There are many other names that people have derivatives of to make it sound more appealing, I guess. But if you've been listening or you haven't, this program could run out and could expire by 2024, if not earlier, if not by 2025. We're unsure of there being an extension. I would jump on this like a freaking lion pouncing on this. But before you do click that link down below, I do want to go over some of the things that you're going to be going through. But again, if this program expires and you're sitting wayside on your couch, you have your TV on, you're being entertained, but that's the last thing you have on your mind. Your thoughts are all over the place with regret, feeling frustrated, uncertain, just your ego is out there. You never even had an ego until now because everything is piling up on you. Bankruptcy, probably foreclosure. You have these liens, you have these business loans, these advances, you have more debt obligations, high debt to income. You just have new trade lines. You're taking out other loans and you can't get approved for what you want. And so this is why it's very important that you get on something like this if you can qualify. For all the other measures that I just mentioned, as a business loan broker expert who knows their stuff, who doesn't kid around, who's very punctual, nice, disciplined, I am going to show you what is out there, what isn't, whether this qualifies for you or not. I'm going to show you everything else. And that's why I'm also leaving a questionnaire form down below you can fill out to get a very personalized and customized email response on your best funding option and options. So don't wait too long if you can qualify for this program, because it could take about 4 to 6, if not more so realistic, 6 to 8 months for you to actually receive your credit. That's the understanding. And that's what I've seen happen a lot to business owners. And it could take like less than a week, less than 2 weeks to go from the point of starting your application, completing your application, uploading your payroll and tax documentation. And I'll go into a little bit of that. And then going to reviewing the documentation, us making sure we have that. And then going ahead and filing through the IRS and it's through the Treasury, right? So this is what it's been sprung upon. And so from there, then we go through the process, we inform you, and then we'll let you know what's been available, what kind of credit, the amount, and then we can go into some of the fees. But there is no upfront cost, just so you know that. Be careful about who you turn to and they say there's an upfront cost to this. And here, one thing before, I know I'm kind of going on a tangent, please stick with me here. It's very important, and I'll go back right away. Those people who are trying to charge you up front, be very cautious. A lot of the times it can be a scam. In other cases, it isn't. Welcome in, Christopher. How are you doing? And what I've seen is a lot of these companies, whether they are or not a scam, they do it because they want to make money. They want that assurance. They're not, quote unquote, going to just send you through the application without an upfront fee, because the majority of people who do, and whether you saw the qualifications or not, you may not be able to get approved. So what do they rely on? They rely on that upfront fee of however much that is, an upfront application cost. There are no hidden costs with me, and you won't have to pay up front. You only pay when you receive your credit. We'll show you after the documentation, everything has been gone through the process and reviewed through the IRS. We get it back, and then we'll be able to share it with you and say, hey, this is the amount of refundable payroll tax credit you're eligible to receive. Is that something you like? Okay. Next step, there's a fee. And I'll go into some of that in a moment, but please stick with me for this presentation and then we'll jump into it. So if you're ready, the majority, like 100%, yes, let's start there. That's kind of a warm-up question. This could change over time, but yes, of course. Did you have W-2 employees in 2020 and 2021? And I have another document open on my screen here that I want to follow. I know this already by memory, but I just want to make sure I don't miss anything for those of you who are asking about exactly how it works. But I also have another video that I'm going to link you guys to down below where I give you guys an A to Z process of how the employee retention tax credit goes and how I recommend you doing it, because at the end of the day, you don't want to work with rookies. You're asking yourself, I know about this program. Why can't I just turn to my CPA, my own attorney, my own payroll management expert, if you even have one. A majority of us don't have that. If you have a CPA, do you have one? Are they credible? I see a lot of CPAs and I see a lot of business owners who I inform about different types of funding, not only the ERC program, but they always turn to their CPA. They always turn to their person who has the finances together, who has the documentation. They were slow. Yeah, they didn't report this. We have to make an adjustment. And this wasn't reported on liabilities and assets. And then this is not the final number. We have to do a revision. And that's not for everybody, but even if it's done right, your CPA does not know exactly how to walk you through each and every contingency of how you can get the funding, and let alone get approved for the maximum amount. I see it every day. And people who say, hey, I'm going to just talk to my CPA. Yeah, but they're going to charge me less to do this. Okay, so what is the alternative to getting that? You're probably going to maximize your funds by 10 to 15 to 20% of what they could actually get you. And they're probably just looking at your gross receipts on a month-to-month basis for those qualified years and quarters. So over here, we probably get you an additional 50 to 100, 150,000 more than what you were receiving here. If anything, you turn to your CPA, they may tell you, no, there's nothing that we can do here. Or, hey, wait, this is out of our reach. Please speak to somebody who's an expert at this, or I can try to partner with somebody. And they come to me the majority of the time. And so I know my stuff. I work with payroll management experts. We're a team. And if you want the best, you'll work with the best and you won't take shortcuts. And I'll go into that a little bit more. But back to this, and I'll go into the comments. Did you have W-2 employees in 2020 and 2021? So employers, and get this question asked a lot. I am self-employed, 1099. I work for myself. I have independent contractors, or I have separate businesses with an LLC. The LLC isn't so much of the issue, or the S Corp, C Corp, or that identity, but understanding that how you are enrolled in your own business, like what do you have? Maybe you're an employee for someone else, but you still run your own business. And how is that set up? Do you have employees underneath you being the employer? So business owners can receive a refundable payroll tax credit. And this is broken down up to $26,000. This is how it gets calculated. $5,000 per employee in 2020 and $7,000 per employee per quarter, excluding the fourth quarter in 2021 for qualified wages. And I can go even deeper on that, but I'll leave it there. And I had another video that I already made that once you go through this quiz questionnaire process, you'll know about it. This can total up to $26,000 per employee, and I break it down in another part. So who is eligible? This comes back to the same point. So employers, yourself, are eligible if you had W-2 employees in 2020 and 2021. Or, doesn't have to be and, it could be or, and you're eligible even if you receive the PPP loan. So that's an advantage to you. Before, it used to not always be that way, and this program was overshadowed by the PPP loan because it was so much more of a vigorous process to go through. And I remember that time, and it was more difficult. So it was kind of in the shadows, but it's become much easier now, and it helps out a lot of people. And if any of the following occurred, even if you already received the PPP loan, you had a reduction in revenue, results in a credit for each quarter you were affected, 50% reduction in 2020. If there's a reduction in your gross receipts in 2020 when comparing to the same quarter in 2019 by less than 50%, then you can get up to $5,000 per employee and or. So there's that flexibility there. And you're looking at those 2 years, so that's a huge advantage. So 20% reduction in 2021, if there is a reduction in your gross receipts in 2021 when comparing to that same quarter in 2019 by at least 20%, then you could get realistically up to $7,000 per employee per quarter affected. And then again, that's the differentiation of the $5,000 in 2020 and the $7,000 in 2021. So you can see where that $26,000 is coming from when you add them together without doing a lot of mathematics right now on paper. I'm a math guy. I'm a systems guy. So I know how these numbers work, and I always verify everything. And so here's a little bit more. So W-2 employees in 2020 or 2021, self-employed 1099, independent contractors, that's more difficult to get approved for. So if you have W-2 qualified wages, that's what we're primarily looking for. You could have one employee. At times we're like 5 to 500 and no more than 500. So if you're between that 1 to 500 range, realistically, you could qualify for. And then on even part-time, full-time, as long as things meet at least 30 hours plus. So over here, did you have them? Yes, you did. Okay. And coming back to this point, did you have a reduction in revenue? Do the bottom apply, or at least look like they apply to you in quotation? Like I said earlier, and I won't repeat this, 50% reduction in 2020. If there's a reduction in gross receipts, I'll repeat it. In 2020, when comparing to the same quarter in 2019 by at least 50%. And then in the 20% reduction in 2021, I'll leave it there. And then both, neither, okay, so I had it, both, let's do that. And over here, was your business impacted by a government mandate? I said this earlier. Did you have a partial, full-time shutdown? Now, we could get so specific. I can always understand your situation, but at the top level, was it or not? And that will be a rule. So, like required to partially or full shutdown of your business, affecting you to obtain critical goods, materials, limiting occupancy. I can say so many more reasons for this: inventory, equipment use. There's just so much. So let's just say yes. You can even put no, but if you started your business after February 15, 2020 and had annual gross receipts less than $1 million, so that's the contingency on one part, but not for everybody. Just know that if you had started your business after February 15, 2020 and had annual gross receipts less than $1 million. So whether that or no, let's just put yes there for that sake. And then we can say here, hey, you are eligible. So if you are, you'll know. If you weren't, I'll show you alternatives. Hey, you can still watch the A to Z employee retention credit breakdown, so you can know more about why you weren't eligible. More or less, you already know that. But here, yeah, hey, I'm wanting to view this. Let me take a look. You can even share your results, help out other people, and then get the refundable ERC your business needs. You can watch that video. That's what I would do next. You want to watch that video. That's about an hour's plus worth, jam-packed. Now, this video is unlike anything else you're going to find on the YouTube. I know the YouTube sounds very old. On a blog, honestly, it is up to date. You're going to be walked through the application process of what I recommend, going through the best of the best, the payroll management experts, whatever you have there, CPAs, attorneys if need be, and everything that you need on a platter served for you. Think about just this Thanksgiving we went through. Did you have an amazing Thanksgiving, by the way? Let me know in the comments. How did it go for you? Did you spend valuable time with family? I'm always a person of giving, and I always try to find ways of donating and doing things in my community, outside of my community, because I've been fortunate to have what I have, and I never take that for granted. Always humble about things. And I can remember as far back, like yourself, being in a 9-to-5 role, I was over promised, under-delivered, underpaid. I don't want to go too in depth in my story to take away from this, but had been working in a logistics/financial role, and I couldn't move up a position because a person in front of me in the supervisory role did not want to retire. Ex-hardware engineer, was supposed to soon, so I stuck on for that 3+ years in that business or in that company, and then it ended up going down under. I was on the bottom of 3 stories, and I had just finished, school before all of this started, university, community, getting my degree, and wanted to become a chemical engineer in the beginning, transition into business classes. So I love the sciences, the chemistry specifically, the math, but being in that role was demanding mentally as well as physically. And I had been working on the computer, putting together Excel spreadsheets, budgets for the shipping that's coming in and that's going out, working with people who were trucking, who were delivering and picking up goods. So I always had that interaction, whether it was minimal or not, because as an introvert, you can only imagine. But getting to see what those loads were, getting to see everything that each person from every department was enduring. And it was just so difficult at a time because I was at the bottom floor of a 3-story building, servicing and helping HP with the subcontracting company, one of the bigger ones there. And then they had Peace Health. So working on the computer, analyzing, doing things, and then having to pick up media boxes and storing them and stocking them, picking them up, pallet jacks, forklift. I was forklift certified. I am. That was a while ago, though. And it was just one of those things where, hey, do I go work in the bank or do I go and, try this out first? And that role actually ended up happening. And then I thought after it was going to go down under, do I need to go back to school for another year? Do I need to then transition into that banking role or that other position? Because that's where I was going into at the time. But, unfortunately things happen and, they come up as a result. And, I ventured down the whole business route, have multiple businesses that I've been able to get funding for. So I know your positioning. And it isn't easy starting from scratch, building up. It is very difficult. Understanding how to reverse engineer profitability and everything thereafter, the processes, the systems, the automation in your business. But just know you have somebody by your side who who really knows their stuff. And when I'm not here on video, I'm a very cerebral person, so I'm always, having you in my mind and making sure everything's taken care of. But reciprocate that, and you'll get a lot from it. So, long story short, you kind of have more or less of an understanding of what I've been through, but without going too in depth on every part of that. Just know that I know what I'm doing and I know my stuff, and you're working with the best. So, about us and my company here, it is at Viral Funding Solutions as an expert business loan broker who actually works with the best lenders and underwriters, payroll management experts, CPAs, attorneys out there. And getting feedback from them yourself is very important. And I know it's a matter of time for a lot of business owners, and you do not want to wait too long. So services that I offer are plenty more. These are just some of them, but I've done all of them, especially in the real estate financing world. I've worked in that commercial real estate property, single family homes, multifamily. I am so fortunate and grateful. And it didn't just happen for me. I had to start and go through it all. But you can realistically click that button after you watch the video and go over to what I would recommend being the number one way of getting started with your employee retention tax credit, which I have open on another screen. You can't see that, but if I'm going to leave that as a little surprise there for you to get started, and you're going to be in the best of hands when you see that. So it could be something like, here, let me switch on over to this screen and I'll actually show you. And it could be another one, probably for other contingencies and what I recommend. But this is ultimately the one that I would start off with in terms of ERC specialists that I've been working with and helping out a lot of business owners right now. A lot of them just got approved and they're so happy. I just talk to them, and others that I haven't yet. Sometimes we don't even need to talk over the phone. It can be a quick email. It can be a quick text message, but somebody like ERC specialist that can help with payroll management experts. And I'm going to be there by your side every step of the way. I communicate with you what's happening next. Hey, I'm going to need this payroll documents. What type of documentation will I be asking for? Which I have, maybe I don't have yet. I can submit it myself, but I would have to request for you to allow me to do that. But just know that there will be forms being asked from you. And so going back to this, February 15, 2020, I just want to make a note of may qualify for an ERC via the Recovery Startup Program as long as your gross sales did not exceed $1 million. So that's on that contingency. So it can be and/or, so it's a bit different before as well, and then thereafter. I have a few documents opened on screen here, but let me move this over. So here, I'm going to show you a quick look. Go through here. You can check it out. Begin qualifying when ready. And then here, let me put the screen over here. I'll come to the comments in a moment. So the screen looks a little bit different from what you may see in the video, but the process is similar. There may be an additional step that's changed, but the process is still the same. It's not gargantuan by any means. But things change in the market. So apply for employee retention credits. You can start a new application. You can pick up where you left off. Already filled one out. Check the status of your application. You need help? Get support. And did you know we helped over 50,000 companies claim employee retention credits? And that number is beyond by now. It's always increasing, and that can change. And so you can start a new application. You click there. How much can you get from the ERC? You would want to go through this information. And I'm not going to walk you through this because I have another video, again, that you'll watch when you get to after the quiz. And I'll walk you through this whole process. How much can you get from the ERC? Company name, first name, last name, email, phone number. You estimate your potential employee retention credit amount. This is for the estimate purposes only. The actual credit is based off the documents when you submit them, which we'll take over to. Once you send it to us, you upload them safely and securely into our portal. We get them on our back end. Then we can revise them, send them over, and then get it taken care of for you. Potential ERC amount is based off the average count qualifying for all 6 quarters of the ERC program. Average full-time W-2 employees count in 2020. You want to put that? See, I've already gone through this myself. So you want to do this. I'm just putting in a different number there. So 40, 30, whatever it is. And then potential ERC amount. Think about it as being like a pre-approval. And don't get too excited when you see that pre-approval, but just know that it is there and it exists. It's kind of like when you are with Credit Karma. Have any of you like checked your Credit Karma lately? I know a lot of us have that account. We don't always look at it. I don't. When we talk about absolute, when we're talking about Vantage scores and different metrics, I mean, a lot of them, they advertise themselves as a marketing company and they try to get you cards. That's how they really make their money. And, it's no different than you walking into a bank. Yeah, it is different than how it's handled, of course, but they're going to try to upsell you on that perhaps that business checking account, then you have the, or you just get that and then you have the business credit cards or whatever you're trying to do there. So just understand that it is kind of that quote unquote pre-approval. Excuse me, there is a readjustment after we have your 941 forms, and I'll go into some of the documentation in just a second. And then the fee that's associated with this, which, by the way, this fee has like nothing on the outcome. Like, think about it as, even if there were like a bit of a fee there, well, okay, the advantage of me getting this financing, or this funding, I should say, excuse me, or credit. I'm so used to using the word financing and funding when it comes to like business loans and advances. But when you're getting this credit, think about it as how you're going to be able to use this. What will this do for you moving forward if you had this? How much free time would it give you? What would it do to your business's growth and expansion? How could you recover? What would you be able to do with payroll, on payroll, with employees you have? More people you want to bring on board, you can actually pay them. And there's so much more you can do with that. So coming back to this portion, that's just, again, that pre-approval stage. You still have to go through it. Let's get started. And by checking and clicking, let's get started below, you can send for your ERC specialist to use the automated technology, including calls, texts, and recorded messages to contact you at the number and email provided. And it's nothing much. It's very hassle-free, especially with me. So I'm just testing. Don't submit my application. You can do that as well. And you'll go to the next step where you'll answer some of the questions and we can proceed from there. But let me come back to my front of the screen that we began with, and then I'll close up shop, and then I'll go to the questions. So again, this is the page you're likely to see. It can change, and it'll be down below. If you can't see it now, actually what I'll do is I'll post it right now in the comment section, but please stick around here and use that link after posted. And again, I didn't necessarily, what's the word? Announce this. This is a spontaneous brought live on YouTube. So I appreciate those of you who could make it here. And if you're not and you're watching on the replay, nonetheless, I appreciate you as much. You're no different than those of you who are here live right now. Just know that I care for each and every one of you. There's a difference when you come to me as opposed to anybody else, not only because I have the team, I have the best people that are vetted, that work, experts, CPAs, attorneys, payroll management experts, the right follow-up process, the right quote-unquote underwriting that's hassle-free. You can go through the application at no cost. It doesn't hurt for you to just see. If you already know you won't qualify, you start the application, you go, well, I'm 1099, I don't have W-2 employees and this and that. Well, you got to think about that too, but does it make sense to just at least see what is there if you're going to be set up that way down the road? Yeah, I think so. And then you can come back where you left off and continue your application. And again, that video that I showed you after this quiz questionnaire, it'll walk you through like the application. Like, I'll show you if you clicked here, if you did this, can this apply to you? And then at the end of it, you want to upload your payroll documentation, which I'll kind of more or less cover at this moment, and then I'll go into the fee. I have my other screen open here that I want to make sure I refer to just because I don't want to miss anything. And I already know it up here, like I said again, but it depends, what you have uploaded, what you haven't uploaded. Make sure you have everything ready. But here, let me see the screen here. Okay, so this would make sure that you upload all the documentation that the IRS would require you. And you don't want to mess with the IRS. You want to make sure you take care of it. And we've seen what's happened with the EIDL loan. This is different. I mean, you could come back, upload, and then we can have a revision and get it done. But you've seen what's happened with EIDL. You do not want to be in a position where now you're waiting for your application to go through, but you didn't submit everything that was needed. You were asked for this. You didn't have it ready. You only submitted partial documentation. Have everything ready. And this is no different than when I help people get a business loan or whatever that matter is. But make sure you are ready. Do not just come into this like half, and think you're going to get the result and the outcome you expect, especially putting our energy and time into it. You got to put yourself in our shoes. I'm putting myself in your position. My team is. But if, hey, Michael, this is happening, and hey, I know I've dealt with them and I'm trying, we don't want that, right? We want it simple, hassle-free. I know you do too. Make it as simple, and you're going to get that reward on the back end. Just imagine having that funding you get approved for, even if it's just 20, 30, 5, 1,000, 300,000, a million, which I've helped business owners get. It's how you decide you use that. It's what it would do for you. Would it save you more money somewhere else? More energy and time instead of putting in other applications? Or on top of this, you can get additional financing or funding, I should say again, or credit, again, because this is a credit, those words again, and because of what I'm used to saying a lot of the time. But just imagine that if you have an employee retention credit of a certain amount, or if you couldn't get that, what's the alternative to that? I'm going to work with you, and I've been doing this for a long time. So this includes payroll documents, 941s. Let me move this over so I can see my complete list over here that I put together in a separate document. So yeah, this would include everything like I thought, 941, 943, or 944 tax documents that you would need to supply. So make sure, as a business owner, you have to do those quarterly. So you should already have them theoretically. So make sure that is available. Now let me open up my HP enhanced lighting again, in case it got dark then on my end. But let me go over here to make sure I have everything, and I'll switch over to the documentation in just a moment. Yeah, I'm flipping over tabs just to make sure I didn't miss anything for you guys. And okay. And there's so much more that I'm not going to obviously cover in this. The video will cover it. So yeah, the uploaded documentation, the 941, 943, those documents that you'll need that will be requested from you. And you should be filing these anyways on a quarterly basis. 941s, and it's payroll and tax documentation. So you'll see that 941s, payroll sheets, P&Ls, that can be asked for as well. So just make sure you're ready for that, and we'll be able to then verify it once it's submitted, and then we'll go to work for you and get this over to the IRS, where then it will be reviewed extensively, even more, and then it'll come back to us, and we'll see an amount that you were approved for. We'll discuss that with you. We'll send it over to you. And if this is something you want to do and move forward with, then we can work on the fee, which let me go over right now. I'm just flipping over screens. I'm trying to get back over there. So the fee here, it's different per organization. You could pay an upfront fee of 10% once you know the amount, honestly. And yeah, that would save you about 5%. So there's also the 15% that would be there after the approval. After you say, hey, this is what I want, then you'll make sure you make your 15% quote unquote that success fee or that fee that's associated. And for many of you who are thinking, whoa, I could go do this somewhere else and get 3 to 5%. But if you weren't listening and you just probably joined me at this time, or you skipped the video to this, go back. You missed everything I said in the beginning, where 3 to 5%, that's questionable. That's I'd be questioning who's doing that. And they're doing this so they can increase their responsiveness on you, so that they can see that, hey, yeah, you're committed. Hey, it's only 35%. Oh, where's the paper? Man. But when somebody says 50, it's no different than when you get like a personal loan for business that I'm working a lot of deals right now on. People who already have their personal loans who go, hey, Michael, the way you explained it to me is nothing. So at a 15% or 10% up front, even if it's 15%, it depends on what you look at it like. Either way is fine. And it's not like it's your money, like your own out of your pocket money. It's different under the total amount. And so at 15%, that's low compared to what you could be getting, and being appreciative that you just received anything, if not a lot. I get you're trying to maximize your credit, but it's not a major difference. The bigger difference is you're working with somebody over here who's over-promising you. They may be under-delivering you. I'm a business loan broker. I know this. A lot of people come to me who ask me about all this, who say, Michael, this person's out. No, that's a scam. I say, no, actually, yeah, that makes sense. But question them on this. Hey, we can do that there, and we can do this here since you needed more. Yeah, this works. You don't have high debt to income ratio. It's not just based on credit. It's based on bank statements. We can look at it like this. Done. Perfect. Depends on what you want to do. But it's low compared to the alternative of saving you more money, getting you more money. We can maximize your amount, as opposed to this, oh, there's no fee, or there's a little bit up front here, or there's a more after I get the amount. Yeah, but are they maximizing the amount of credit that you'll get? When you look at that amount, you go, it's questionable. Like, they didn't even look at all my gross receipts, or they didn't even get the tax documentation like this, and it wasn't done appropriately. They didn't even look at me having a supply chain issue for these quarters or what I had to endure. And why did I just go through this adequate CPA or the person who's been working on my information who's been amazing, but they don't understand all of this. So you need a team of payroll management experts, CPAs, attorneys, myself, to help you. And if you're budgeting between that 15 to 10, your business isn't in a position where you're just trying to squeeze out every little thing. And just imagine the payroll management experts, ourselves, having to document everything. We have to put notes together, send things to the IRS that you don't know about. That takes a little bit of work on our part. You think the payroll management expert wants to spend, a whole hour, 2 days, 3 days putting all this together for a little amount? Maybe, maybe not. But regardless, they're trying to help you and they're aiding you. So you don't go do it by yourself. So your CPA or this other organization, you thought we're handling it for you. You come back, they're like, you didn't get approved, or you only got approved for 20,000. Well, we're over here doing 120,000 in credit. That's a significant difference for somebody who really needed that. And yeah, there might be a 10%, 15%. Other companies charge 18 to 20%. But what is the cost that you're actually going to endure if you take that? Think about growth and expansion, where your revenue, your business could be, getting more employees, keeping your overhead costs low, your expenses, your revenue, then boom, increases. With that amount, you're like, all I needed was an additional 10 to 20,000. So let me come get a business loan or an advance or a personal loan, whatever that takes. I'm good. I had the best of the best look over my documents, myself, my team. But the other alternative to that is, could it be a scam? Too good to be true. They don't maximize your amount. They don't even save you. Like saving your business, saving you as a person. They're just trying to make money for their business in a lot of cases. They say they care about you, but how come it's not set up this other way? You got to question a lot of that. And if it's legitimate, and again, I vetted the people in who work the best. So I think that is everything. Let me flip through my tabs here and I'll come over to the comments. Yeah, and I can't show you guys this one, but I have another client that's on another tab of mine who they made their payment. Simple as that. Don't have to think about it at all. And this one particular person getting over, we'll just say they're getting close to 100,000. We'll say that. And it can realistically be done. And I have this other document actually right here. And I'll actually say it rather than show it. It's not a lot. But you would just go through the progress of your application, completing it. Don't just start something you cannot finish. Are you that person who starts something and you can't? Now, it's different if you don't qualify. If you're unsure about it, you're busy, you have family obligations, something came up in business, but spend time. Think about it like if this was due or, gone. I don't like to use the word DIE, spelled out there, but due or gone. This is your last day on earth. You have a difference to make for your family. If you're going to pass this business over to them, you want to show an example to your family, to your CPA, to your own self, your own image. Like, I'm working with the best, whether that's 15, 10%, 18, 20%. The cost of doing this type of business to then take your business to that next level, to have that, whether you use that credit, how you use that credit, it's going to go a long ways. So application completed, documents, they get uploaded. You'll have that once you go through the app sequence that I more or less showed you. I'll walk you through in that video. Get started, upload those payroll tax documents, whatever is needed is asked of you. Please submit it. I've gone through those things. And so make sure you do. Come back to it if you need to. You should have an email if you did abandon that process. And I may notify you via email, maybe a text message. Nothing much. I don't have to always be on a phone call. I mean, you might not want that. But just be sure, hey, this is what I'm looking forward to. This is how I can get started. You just go through it, bam, bam, simple, simple. Next thing you know, you're getting your employee refundable tax credit. Simple as that. So documents uploaded, it can be done right then and there, same day. Let's say you started it today, the same day, boom, done. Application approved. When can that get approved? Is it disapproved? Excuse me, that can be approved in as little as a week, less than a week, less than 2 weeks. But it depends on how fast you want to do things. It's like the SBA 7A loan. Like, I got to go talk to another business owner right now who's being unresponsive. Like, I don't got to go do that. Really? Like, I know I have to do my part in certain things, but at that point of the communication, they're being unresponsive about something. It's irresponsible. It's being unaccountable. I'm sure they're busy and things come up, but letting things go by day in and day out is not a good look. And so just anything works. Just, hey, I'm looking over this. I'll get back to you. Boom. And going 3, 4, 5 days without doing it, it's just not a good place. And you're putting people's energy and time into this. So be considerate. And then signed and submitted, that can get done within a day, same day, in 2 days. Nothing like in a week extensively, not in a lot of cases. Then we can go ahead and file with the IRS. Simple. And then that can be the same day. And then we'll show you if the amount that you can get approved for. And that can be then dispersed in 16 to 20 or so weeks, 4 to 8, 6 to 8 months, what you're seeing. And you'll know what you've been given. And then that's pretty much it. And you'll be probably notified via your address. Please upload a scanned copy of your picture so we can determine what was the next steps and a few other things. Let me make sure I have all of this here. Yep, nothing's changed there for me. 1 second. Okay, now let me come to the comments section. I believe that is everything. Yes, it is. It is for now. Okay, so I'm not sure if everybody is still in here who did comment, but let me go over them. Once again, appreciate you. Thank you, Christopher. Awesome. Yeah. Just always have your ears peeled open and absorb as much. Take notes. But again, that link will be down below to get started if whether you qualify for it or not. For those of you who are asking, well, I won't qualify for this. I've already tried it. So there's another thing too. If you went through it, we'll show you probably a part where you're ineligible. And then they'll show you alternatives and what you do, that next step. And then my questionnaire form will be down below. Hi, JG. You need the number to my credit repair company. Okay, so I'll make note of this right now on my handy dandy notebook. Sound like Steve from Blue's Clues. Hope I'm quoting that right. Now, what I won't do is list it right now in the comments. I don't want to approach it that way and just start listing numbers because that's not the proper way of doing things. So what I will do, JG, if you haven't done this yet, which I believe you haven't, is you'll want to submit, my credit repair form. I think it's not right now in the description, but I will have it there in time. I may be able to open it up here, but I cleared the cookies on mine. I can't easily access it right now while I'm doing this live. So let me see if I can. You can't see this screen. Will likely bring me to my no, that's not what I wanted. You guys can't see this. Yeah, and for anybody else in here who needs help with credit repair, maybe it's just a fix and an increase, and you know that you gotta raise your credit up in your history. You know what you have to do there. That's another thing. But if it really needs credit to be repaired, then that's what I would recommend for sure. There's differences there. And if you need any form of business credit, credit line that's 0% for 6 to 18 months, that's another alternative to this ERC. You can add the two. And that's more of a credit line program where you can like liquidate the cash out and then use it for any type of investments. And 0% for 6 to 18 months, up to a 150K, if not 250K corporate credit. So here, I have it now. 1 second. So I have posted it in the comments, JG, if you're still in here, and for everybody else in here watching. That is my credit repair form. Please fill that out. I have experts that I outsource this to. I used to do a bit of this myself back in the day, but I have to focus on other parts of my business and this one. And then I have my other businesses that I run. So I have one of the best that works in the credit repair space, very reputable, great, nice person to talk to. I have their number. I can call them at any time, their CEO and the owner, and etc. But that's what I would do. Fill that questionnaire form out, and then I will be able to understand more. But after that, then I would, you can lean in with that phone call. But it's better to fill out the form so we can see the details and they don't always answer a phone call. Just think about them. You don't always want to just call a company out of the blue. You sometimes want to fill out a form to begin with, and that's what's happening here. And I'll also leave a video in the comments to that repair company so you can learn more. But I would go through that form first to get started before calling anybody and doing it this way. It's more structured. I can't see these comments. Happy to hear it. Yeah, hopefully everybody here had a great Thanksgiving. And, you know, this Christmas coming up, very grateful. I remember sitting standing for Thanksgiving, and we all do a prayer, and so we hold hands. I had to really think mine through, and I have just gone through so much this year, and just, you know, not only with business but with, you know, personal stuff. You know, the loss of my dog brother early, February, and it was a difficult time. And so that's one thing I'm extremely grateful and thankful for him, having him. And, just people that are not with us, I was saying thankful that for those who are not with us, they're here with us in spirit, but not here with us in the physical sense. And then a lot more things that I was thankful and I am thankful and grateful for. But, always remind yourself of where you come from and how you've grown to be where you are today. And, you'll be well off. Everything else, will always, not always, but take care of itself. You still got to do a lot of ins and outs. So that will conclude everything from me in this video. I do appreciate you for tuning in. Hopefully you got a lot of value out of this employee retention credit, somewhat a review over what it is, how does it work in somewhat of a capacity, and the process that I showed you on the screen. You want to walk through, make sure that fill that out down below. Even if you don't qualify, you'll be seen in ineligibility on what some other options could be and what to take action on, what other routes, how I can help you and assist you. And make sure you watch that video on that quiz questionnaire afterwards. There may be a blog post review or not, but make sure you check that video out. Get started. You can click that button, go over there, learn a little bit more that you already learned, but you'll go ahead and get started. And make sure you go through the documents. You submit everything, the application, documents, everything gets reviewed. We can then send it over to the IRS. Boom, you get an amount. Boom, taken care of, done. People get it done like nothing. They don't think about it. They go, hey, even if it's 15, 10%, 20%, 18%, those fees, it's slow and low compared to that alternative of losing out on maximizing, getting a better reputation, getting a better experience, especially that, and getting a better connection. That's at the end of the day, you want to know who, and sometimes it's more about the who than what you know. So it's better to go that direction, and there's a lot more behind it. So that is everything from me. Oh, and EIDL, not happening a lot of that. PPP, Restaurant Revitalization Fund grant programs, SSBCI grants, and some of these things. But more alternatives I'll leave down below in the description. Hopefully you got value out of this. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. Share with others who you feel will get value out of it. Spread the word on the employee retention credit, how there's somebody who's very reputable, who has the right team, who's vetted, and who knows the process. And it's very hassle-free. And you're not just dealing with somebody who's going to overpromise, underdeliver, or they just don't know what they're doing and they're just going to go at it in a different way and probably try to scam you. So be very careful of those people, those organizations and programs. And I don't think I said this, but if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do so and click that bell notification icon so you do not miss any future content I will be coming out with. And that is everything for now. Talk to you all soon. Have a great weekend, and I will see you in the next week. Keep looking out for my content that I've been releasing on the channel, blog, social media, and so much more. And for those of you that I haven't responded back to you, Fridays, Saturdays are my catch-up days. So I'll be filling out questionnaires, doing emails, and updating people on their application, which I've done plenty of today. And be on top of it. Be punctual, be disciplined, be open-minded, allow feedback, be patient, and you'll see how all this turns out for you in the end, that it will be the best decision you ever made. And working with myself, I truly believe that. So that is everything for now. Talk soon. Bye.